Shabbat Shalom, my fellow students and teachers. It's June 2nd. To those of you who are new to our Friday morning Torah conversations on Facebook and on YouTube, I'm Stanley Davids. We have people joining us now from France, from Canada, from Israel, from the UK, from Australia, and yes, even from across the United States of America. We welcome your comments, your questions, your thoughts, and best of all, if you enjoyed the Torah study this morning, please hit share and bring the conversations to other people as well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. By the way, for those of you who were worried, I am no longer in an unknown underground location somewhere in Westchester County. Risa and I are back in Santa Monica. Shavuot is past. We have celebrated the giving of the Torah, and we should recognize, my friends, that Torah is still being given. Just this past week, I learned some wonderful new Torah from that greatest and most demanding teacher of all, life. Isn't that also true for you as well? Abraham Joshua Heschel was once asked whether the incredibly dramatic, ever-escalating accumulation of knowledge effectively diminishes his sense of wonder about the world. Heschel responded by saying that it was quite the opposite. For Heschel, the more we learn, the deeper and more wonderful the mysteries of life become. This week, life's mysteries and its wonders deepened for me. I am still floating on the waves of what I have learned about family love and pride. Okay, our Sedra is Naso, beginning Numbers 4:21. Wow, what an incredibly rich, wonderful Sedra this week. Many well-known passages. For example, the priestly benediction. You know the one, Yevarechecha, I can do this. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you, the threefold benediction, wonderful. And also the institution of the Nazarite, one who gives up wine and cutting his hair and adopts what we might call a very monkish lifestyle in the fulfillment of a sacred vow. Do you remember Samson? He was a Nazarite. He was not merely a long-haired strong man. And in our text, there is also the ritual utilized to determine if a woman who was accused of being an adulteress actually is. The Hebrew word for an adulteress is SOTA. Is she a SOTA or not? When I was a callous youth studying at the Hebrew College, my classmates and I were fascinated by and horrified by this ordeal that the woman had to undergo, and it was written in our text. And especially by the center of that ordeal, in which she was made to drink a special mixture of holy water and dirt, while all around her, the religious leaders of her day were calling out imprecations, curses at her. Incredible thing. We thought ourselves to be very clever in those days, and we called that mixture which she had to drink SOTA water. No, but it's another conversation for another day. With such wonderful material, it's easy to pass by, forget, ignore the opening verses of the Sedra. Two cousin groups of the tribe of Levi were given unique responsibilities. Those of the Gershon clan were given the task of carrying all of the richly designed cloths and coverings that gave shape and distinction to the tabernacle and to the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting, the Gershon clan. And those of the Merari clan were porters of the planks and bars and sockets and pegs that were the building blocks of the tabernacle and of the Ohel Moed. Pretty straightforward, right? The tabernacle, after all, was portable, a portable sanctuary for the wilderness wandering. Someone had to disassemble it, someone had to carry the structural items, and then somebody had to reassemble it. But the tabernacle was the place where God made appearances. The tabernacle was the place where Moses came to seek divine instruction and to receive the orders of the day. The tabernacle was the only place where the Israelites could bring sacrifices, where connections therefore were maintained between heaven and earth. It was holy, and the very center of it was the holiest of all. What must have been like when the order came to move on? Israelites, pack up, move up. We're heading closer toward the promised land, so that this gateway to heaven had to be taken apart, carried across the desert, and then in some place they didn't know, put back together again to be utilized. Now, to be true, I don't quite see the image of the Merari boys and the Gershon boys coming to work one day whistling, wearing overalls, laughing and joking, with a foreman barking out orders and telling them about when the coffee breaks are and the union hours. You get the picture. Do you remember that scene in The Wizard of Oz when the curtains were thrown back? And spoiler alert, something is coming here. What was revealed was a cluster of mundane machines being operated by a rather ordinary guy. That's it. What happens to the mystery when it's revealed no longer to be a mystery? What happens to the magic? What happens to the sacred when the sacred is just revealed to be a collection of wood and gold and materials woven together by a skillful crew? Is this when the great are revealed to have nothing more than feet of clay, so that they then are lowered rather dramatically in our estimation? What is holy is not, in my mind, intrinsic to, inherent in any location, any building, any piece of geography. Not the building materials, not the shape, not the form, no matter how grand, no matter how austere. What is holy is what we bring to that place or to that structure. What is holy is the purpose to which that place or that structure is dedicated by us. What is holy is what happens when that place, that structure, is being used as it was intended by us. But not the threads, and not the cloths, and not the beams and the bars. They can be moved from place to place. What is holy are the stories that are told about a place, that events that happen within a structure, the dreams that are celebrated there. When a Sefer Torah is being transported, we sometimes cut the sinews that link one sheet of parchment to another. A carefully wrapped scroll can then be placed in an overhead bin in an aircraft. But why? The words haven't changed, same parchment. Because holiness is what we bring to the text. And if we have chosen to withhold, to change the object's status, then that status is changed. Same discussion occurs when a synagogue building has to be sold for whatever reason, or when a Jewish family moves out of a house and they have to talk about what are we going to do with the mezuzot on our doorposts. Whether we're talking about a sacred wall in an ancient city, or a sacred setting within which wondrous things have occurred, or a statue of a great moral leader in our nation's capital, or the Shabbat candles on our family table, or the majestic quiet as we stand over against mountains, sea, or sky. The building blocks, the components, mean far less than our awareness, our awe, our love, the yearnings and the inspirations that we bring to that place or to that object. The Merari boys and the Gershon boys carried out their tasks, I am quite certain, with great respect. But in truth, the tabernacle, which was the center of our dreams, the tent of meeting, which was the focus of our lives, they were never actually taken apart, because their holiness never disappeared. We can therefore say that in some non-literal fashion, I acknowledge, that those sacred structures are still with us. The tent of meeting, the tabernacle, with their eternal promises that God will always be available to us, with their promises that we are not alone and that we never will be. That holiness is still here. So, my friends, have a wonderful Shabbat. Please share this with others and look forward to speaking with you, learning with you this coming week. Shabbat Shalom. Be well.